heard people say they had a life-changing trip? I did, and I know that they are real. But first, I need to tell you a little bit about myself and my travel companion. When I was 15 years old, I became a mom. Troy is my son, and at that point in life, I decided I needed to have a serious attitude adjustment. I started taking myself seriously. I started taking my goals seriously. I started setting goals for myself. I started living life differently. And I wasn't just living for myself anymore. I didn't want to become the typical teenage mom. And so the things I did made sure that I would avoid that. I wanted to be the kind of woman that Troy would be proud to call his mom one day. He was an only child until he was 9 years old, and now he is one of 7 children. They're not all mine, I promise. No. Troy has 3 siblings from his dad and 3 from myself and my husband, and he doesn't get a lot of privacy these days. At 14 years old, Troy decided that he wanted to go live with his dad. That certainly was not part of my plan. No. It was not my desire. But away he went to Omaha, Nebraska, to start his high school years living with his dad. This last summer would actually be Troy's last summer that he would spend with our family here in Las Vegas on his long summer break. He was going into senior year, and I came to the realization that he might not have this kind of break with us ever again. I wanted to do something really special for just the 2 of us. I had this idea that if I merged Troy's desire to travel the world and my desire to serve and help people, that we would have this really great experience together. And just the right trip came across my path that married the 2 so perfectly. It was to Trujillo, Peru, and it landed right smack dab in the middle of the summer vacation that Troy would be spending with me. 10 days on a service project, helping people in the barrios, mostly children. And I knew that a lot of the people that were going were around Troy's age. It would be perfect. There was just one snag in my plan: the cost. You see, our families had financial struggles, and this was the year we decided we were going to be debt-free. We started to live by a budget for the first time ever. And this trip, well, that was not in the budget. However, one very, very faithful and generous friend heard my story and stepped forward with a gift to send not only one of us, but both of us together on this very trip so that we could have this experience together. But not only that, so that we could go to Trujillo and help other people. I called Troy via FaceTime because I had to see his reaction. And he was smiling from ear to ear. And to get a teenage boy to grin that ecstatically is a feat, I tell you. And I knew that this was going to be something special. I didn't have any expectations for this trip. I didn't have any plans or goals. I just knew that this was an experience that Troy and I needed to have together. Well, the day that we landed in Trujillo, our team, we were traveling with 22 others from Las Vegas. Our team gets on the ground, and we immediately get to work. There was no nap time, not even shower time, not even change your clothes from the 27-hour plane ride time. we got right to business. We were on a bus to the barrios, and we were getting our assignments. We had people at the clinic. We had people at the church. We had people at the school. We had people all over that barrio doing different things. Luckily, Troy and I were on the same team with several others where we were cleaning up a park together. And each of us had paired off with a partner. We got a set of latex gloves and a big empty rice bag where we would be able to put the trash into. We made a game of it. We thought, let's see who can pick up the most trash and fill this big old rice bag. And we get to the park area, and I see that the trash is just mostly these little tiny wrappers, like gum wrappers. But it's everywhere. I think there's no way we're going to fill a rice bag with a bunch of little gum wrappers. But we get to business, and we just start picking up every square inch of that park in that barrio. We're just constantly bent over, picking up things and putting it in the bag. It wasn't all cake, though, not a bunch of wrappers. There was a little bit more along the ground we found. You see, the barrios have a lot of stray dogs. Stray, hungry-looking dogs. Their rib cages are exposed. They're so hungry. And those dogs seem to be using this park as a dumping ground. So there was a lot of dog stuff along the park. Some had been there a while. And there was some nasty stuff, too. Underwear, diapers. Probably the most unsettling and disgusting thing in the park that we found that day was the skeletal remains of one of those dogs who had rotted there in that very children's play area. You see, we were serving alongside people that lived in these very barrios. They were with us. They had the gloves and the trash bag just like we did. And we didn't want to turn our nose up at anything that we came across that day. Our sole purpose was to clean this park so that the children of this community could go through and play and enjoy this area. So we humbled ourselves and we picked up the dog stuff. We picked up the diapers, the underwear, and yes, even the carcass of that poor stray barrio dog. We also got to do a camp experience for the kids of the barrios. We were really at a camp. It was a few hours away from the actual barrio where these children lived. And we did 2.5 days with the young elementary school kids, and then we did 2.5 days with the young adults, the older kids, the middle school to high school kids. And we were so excited. Our team had arrived first, our bus full of gringos, as they called us. And we were standing there waiting for the kids to arrive at the park, or at the camp. And 2 busloads of beautiful children pull up, and they start to unload and walk into the camp area. And as we wait for them in great anticipation, they round the corner and walk towards us, and I see something I wasn't expecting. These kids look freaked out. They're terrified. Now, I've never done camp, and Troy never did camp either growing up, so I only know camp by what I've seen in the movies, and it looks like it's supposed to be pretty exciting, and the kids are supposed to be all happy when they get there. That was not the case with these children at this camp. And I realized these kids don't get to play. They don't get to have fun with their lives like our kids typically do. No, they sleep in a house, basically in the same room as the rest of their family, with dirt floors. Usually the mattress is right there against the floor. A lot of them have to work to help support their families. Many of them have been abandoned by some of their parents. Some of them have parents or family members that suffer from alcoholism. It's just heartbreaking story after heartbreaking story with these kids. And they didn't know what to expect at camp. Well, we sat down to the first dinner with these kids, and I tell you, that had to be the most awkward dinner in the history of any dinner I've ever eaten in my entire life. And I tell you, I've never missed a dinner, so I've had a lot of them. These kids didn't even talk to each other. They sat there closed-armed, leaning back with numb faces, oftentimes just looking down at the table. The icebreaker failed miserably. Our team of gringos, we had 2 people that spoke Spanish. 2 out of 24 of us. Unfortunately, my mom is from Mexico, and English is her second language, and I don't even speak fluent Spanish. So I'm sitting at this table all by myself with 6 or 7 kids and a Peruvian leader, and all of the people that I traveled with from Las Vegas were in the same situation, including Troy. But something amazing happened. One of the kids we were traveling with decided, let's have a gringo flash mob. So after this completely awkward dinner, we take that room from 0 to silly, and we just get up and start dancing like crazy maniacs. And you think this could go one of 2 ways. Fortunately for us, it went fantastically. The kids started to crack smiles. They started to laugh at us, but they were laughing. And the kids started to dance and have fun and play. That was incredible. And that dance party ensued after every single meal at both camps with the little kids and the big kids. So for 5 days straight, we danced after breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And we danced for a long time. We were sweating. It was great. One night, after the kids had gone to bed, our team had a recap meeting about what had been going on that day. And one of those fun little dance parties broke out. We were all having a great time. One of the girls said to Troy how lucky he was because his mom was so fun, so cool. I was one of the old ladies on the trip, so, and they were enjoying me. And as we're dancing around and having fun, and I'm just relishing in the compliment that she just paid, Troy says, "You have no idea. This is not the mom I grew up with. I don't know this fun Jasmine that you guys get to see." And I thought, whoa, wait a second. I'm fun. People love me. What is he talking about? But they say perception is reality. And if this was Troy's perception, then this was definitely Troy's reality. Now, when camp ended, both times, with both groups of kids, the buses pulled away and everyone's hearts broke as arms were outstretched through the windows, and all of our team and the kids, even the men that traveled with us, shed tears over having to say goodbye to these beautiful children that we had just spent those days with. I mean, even some of the kids had told our team members that they were their best friend. I asked Troy, what about this trip really impacted you? He said he couldn't pick just one thing because the entire trip was a highlight for him. Everything. There was no one thing. But after some thought, he sent me a text message and he said, "Mom, you probably already know this, but the one thing that really impacted me was just how happy these people were. They have nothing, literally nothing, and they are so genuinely happy." That was really special for me to hear him say that. And for me, the reason this changed my life, and I think it can change yours too, is we forged these really deep, meaningful connections with people in a very short period of time. And it wasn't just me, and it wasn't just Troy, it was everybody on our team. I saw friendships being made with the mothers of these children, with the children. It was incredible to see all of that happening. And how did we do it? with just 2.5 days with these kids, how did that happen? The consistent things that I saw were just to be humble in life more often than we're not, to set our ego aside and just humble ourselves. The other, love. Love people unconditionally, with your whole heart, without judgment, and love them by the things that you do more than by the things that you say. And the last thing, the thing that gets discounted, I think, the most, I'm even guilty of discounting it. We get so caught up being serious, chasing success, we forget to just be silly. Just be silly and have fun. Life is meant to be enjoyed, and it's most importantly meant to be enjoyed with the people that we love. And if I can bring this back to my own community and not just do it in another country, but bring it to Las Vegas and do it here, and most importantly, do it in my own home, what kind of awesome things can happen? I just need to remember that I can be silly. Thank you.